We call them cowboys, Jack, in the game of roofing, these type of people. They come in and they just take advantage of clients, pretty much.
An Irishman has been charged over a roofing scam which left one elderly woman more than $100,000 out of pocket. The 41-year-old was caught at the airport before he could leave the country. His alleged victims left pondering how much they've lost.
Elizabeth Steindler has lived at her Dover Heights home for 3 decades. The roof and flooring needed a little work. So she contacted a tradie who dropped a leaflet in her mailbox early last year. He was offering good prices.
They're very good ripping out things, but the work itself was useless.
At first, the 70-year-old paid 2 men $2,500, but they wanted more.
How much did you end up handing over?
100,000 in 3 weeks.
Her neighbour Carmelo also scammed.
They left a mess, they took the whole roof off, they left me without a roof.
The 65-year-old handed over $5,000 before the so-called tradesman disappeared.
Just give us a quote, and what they started doing was taking the tiles off. They made a big hole and then they said we can't put the tiles back on because the battens are too rotten.
Right.
And so then they've done all this damage, and eventually we couldn't get rid of them, and then eventually we said we're going to call the police if you don't get lost, because they weren't sure, we didn't know which company they were with or anything.
Right.
So then we called our insurers, so we called GIO.
Yes.
And then they came and made it sort of watertight.
Yeah.
But they refused the claim.
Oh yes, because
They said we invited him onto the property.
That's right. Oh God. Sometimes you can just cry when you see what happens on a roof. In this case, the Aussies have been on this roof again. Tiny terracotta roof, and they supposedly door knocked and told the occupants that there's something wrong with the roof and they should get it painted. So they charge you something like about $8,000 apparently.
It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's just preying on the elderly or the vulnerable of our community.
Today, welcome news, one of the alleged con artists was finally caught.
Be aware.
Be aware.
Do your research.
Yep.
Right.
Should find their see if they've got some history or some referrals.
Yeah. Don't get pushed into making a decision straight away, right? Because they will push you to make a decision.
It's not always going to be super expensive. It might be the cheap option.
Right, yeah.
It might be the cheapest option you got, but that is just going to be an expensive option for you because you're not going to have to take that jibes, pay for that guy, and then additionally for someone like us to come and fix it. So you're doubling the cost in the long run.
Yeah, especially if people who want money up front.
Yeah.
Like we are at the opposite end of the scale because we don't take any money up front. Right? So we take our money when the job's finished.
Yep.
Right. And
that's true. Actually, I've had a couple of clients say to me, "Oh, when do I pay you?" Say I've sent in a quote and they've accepted the quote, and I'll be like, "No. We'll send you through photos of the job and then an invoice once everything's complete. We don't want money before we've even been to the job."
Yeah. And that's kind of weird in industry because a lot of people want payment beforehand. We are confident out there that most of our clients are good clients.
Yeah.
Right? And we give them value and then they pay us.
Yes.
And we don't need to ask for money up front because we got to show them that we can give them the value first.
Yeah.
And then they will reciprocate by giving us back our value, which is the money.
Yeah.
Right?